I'm getting married today. And
Yeah.
I can't get to the venue.
And meanwhile, she's sleeping. It was without a doubt the best day of my life.
Apparently our cake fell on the ground.
Oh yeah. We're eating the fallen cake off of the floor because like, oh, they're not gonna reuse it. Grabbing little handfuls off the floor.
It was absolutely miserable. We may not actually have a reception.
This is gonna be a problem.
I think we ended up having 350 to 400 people.
Let's say
she was about to sing. She was like, I can't sing. Like, she felt awful. So they ended up going home. We were so shocked. Everyone's staring at each other like, this may not happen. This is gonna be so fun. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to our channel. For today's video, we're gonna be telling you the story of our wedding day and basically just like how it went. There were some things that went wrong, a lot. It worked out. So if you're interested, I don't want you to stare at me. It makes it so much harder. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so in honor of our little wedding video,
I'm thirsty.
we have our little wedding glasses that we used on our wedding, obviously. This one was mine, and then this one's Grant's. We use these like when we ate our cake. It's just like grape juice. I just see this going so wrong.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No drinking etiquette at all.
Oh, well. This is exactly what we had on our wedding day.
I think we had white.
Probably white. We didn't have alcohol or anything, so. We obviously got engaged on September 4th, which was our last video. We went straight into planning our wedding.
Hardcore.
Pretty much like that
Full
week.
send.
We did not want to wait 6
No.
months. To me, anything over 6 months is a long time. We
Yeah.
wanted a quick wedding. We decided pretty quickly on January 29th of 2022. Not because we wanted a winter wedding, mainly because we couldn't get married in the fall because it was already September. Spring was just too long. We were like, winter it is. And it was really hard because it was the holidays. Like, we're planning this huge wedding. I think together we invited like 600 people.
Yeah, it was 5 and some change.
We had a huge wedding. I think we ended up having 350 to 400 people, which was what we were told. It was a huge wedding, and that was like what was the most difficult part, was finding a venue in the middle of winter that was indoors. We looked at so many venues, but they wouldn't seat that many people on an indoor location.
There were only 2 venues within an hour and a half of our location that held more than 250 people.
That was the hardest part for us. I wanted to get married on January 17th. I just love 17. Or even December 17th, but we decided against December because it was the holidays, and January because the venue that we wanted, the only one that was close to us that seated an indoor facility, they closed from like, what was it, December to February? Something between like the winter months. It could have even been March, I don't remember. And we ended up having to pay more just so that they would keep their facility open until January. And we were like, what day can you give us in January? Like, we don't even care. You're our only option. We will pay more. And they ended up saying like the last day of January we'll do that. So I don't think either one of us, we weren't one of those people who were like choosing the day that we wanted. Like, I feel like everyone says, oh, we want a fall wedding. They choose their wedding around a season or a day. We didn't think we needed that long to plan a wedding. I think that's kind of like ridiculous when people think that you need a year to plan a wedding. So don't let people say that. If you want to wait, that's fine, but you don't have to. We had one of the biggest weddings that I've been to.
That
and
anybody I
planned
know
it.
has had.
Yeah, and planned it in 4.5 months around the holidays. And it wasn't hard. Like, I had fun.
Yeah, we both had a lot of fun. I would do it all again in a heartbeat.
I don't even remember stressful moments, to be honest. I just thought it was the most fun thing ever. It was chill. We planned everything. We prayed a lot about everything, and the Lord just worked it out. First thing we did was choose our venue, and then that gave us our day. That kind of was a longer process. I think we didn't have our venue until like the end of October.
Yeah, it was.
From what I remember.
It was October for sure.
It took us 2 full months to find a venue, and that was a little bit stressful, but again, I was like, we're getting married in January. Like, I just knew it was gonna happen, so I wasn't really that stressed out, and we just weren't worried. I went dress shopping first week in October, so I already had my dress. We had chosen food for the venue, and then we had chosen like a photographer, videographer, the DJ,
all
cake.
the bridesmaids and groomsmen.
We had a bridal party of like, it was 22 people including us, so we each had 10 people. We just have so many family members. We wanted our family in the wedding.
Pretty much what it came down to for me was the fact that I have 3 brothers and 4 brother-in-laws. If I was to include all of them, it would automatically be 7 people already, which is bigger than most people's bridal parties to start with.
If it was up to him, I think we would have had 15 people. But yeah, it was definitely a huge bridal party, but it was a lot of fun. I was not one of those girls, like, I didn't have a Pinterest board for like what I wanted my wedding to look like. I don't think you had any kind of plan. And I know, again, I said this in my last video, about my ring, but everyone says like, oh, I don't care, I have genuinely never thought about my wedding until we had to sit down and say like, where do we start? I had not one picture idea. It was completely
well, yeah, that's the
from
thing
scratch.
about you really tend to live exactly in the moment.
Yes.
And if you start thinking about the future, it takes away from the moment, so you just don't do it. Like, you don't plan those kinds of things out.
Right.
When it comes, you plan it then.
Right, exactly. Like, so when we looked at my ring, I'm like, well, there's no point in ring shopping or like knowing what I want until we're at the ring store and he's asking me. Same thing with my wedding. I'm like, I never even gave it one thought until we were engaged and we sat down at my house one night and we're like, where do we start? I felt like you almost did more of the details and work than I did.
I love logistics.
Yeah. Like,
and
when
planning.
I tell my clients that, they're like, they don't even believe me. I'm like, I feel like you did more planning than I did. I don't even care. The only thing that I really thought about, I'm like, oh, I want candles. I want it to be a nighttime wedding, and I just want it to be like candlelit. I just thought that would be really pretty. When it came to colors, decided to do a black wedding, not a black and white wedding like I've seen. We just wanted to do all black. And it was the prettiest thing, prettiest wedding I've ever been to. I know I'm biased.
The only white in the entire building was her. That was it.
It was so pretty. I thought it was the prettiest thing because it was all... Our power just went out. Oh no. Is it gonna kick back on? It's 100 degrees outside. We're not even exaggerating it. I guess we're gonna turn the camera off and figure this out.
If you guys like this type of content, come back for part 2.
Okay, our power's back on. It was like 2 hours?
Yeah, it is 7:42.
77 degrees in our house, but we have power. We were talking about pretty much the only things I had decided on was that I wanted the color black for the whole wedding, and I wanted it candlelit.
Yep, we had a bunch of candles.
Kind of all that that was the theme, which it was like, it was a lot, but it was really simple. We needed a lot of candles, so we had to go to the Dollar Tree. We ended up buying a couple hundred, or like a few hundred candles and vases to put them in. So
yeah, you and your mom ended up buying every tall candle from every Dollar Tree, like what, within 40 miles?
Yeah, we went to probably 6 or 7 Dollar Trees and cleared them out of every candle, and they were like the non-scented kind. And then we had coffee beans, dark espresso, coffee beans on the table. Everything was black, and then we had candles everywhere.
It ended up really looking good.
That was probably our most stressful moment, was just getting the candle, the little...
Yeah, you know how you get like something cheap from China or whatever, and it's got those stickers on it. When you try to rip them off, it just like rips the little corner, and then you gotta sit there and like scrape off all the residue. Every single candle had a full wraparound sticker and a price tag made of that. We had to get it all off. We're talking like 400 candles.
Well, it was like that too with the vases. So however many candles we had, it was double that on the vases.
It almost stresses me out just reliving it.
Yeah.
It was like,
it took us
5 or 6 date nights working until like 11 or 12 at night.
That was just when he was there. My mom did it too when we weren't even there. Me and Grant, we did everything kind of by ourselves. That was a lot of fun because it was me and him going to the venues, going to pick out the food, going to pick out like everything we wanted. We just did it by ourselves. It was a lot of fun. We didn't have a planner or anything. So we had our venue, I had my dress, food, DJ, videographer.
We had our church and our venue. 2 different locations.
Yes, we decided to get married at a church, which we chose, and it was like 5 to 8 minutes away from the venue, which was perfect.
Yeah, it really was nice.
We had everything like decided, booked, scheduled. About 3 weeks from the wedding, we realized it was mainly my dad who was sitting there one night, and he's like, I don't want his wife, like my mom, I don't want her running around on the wedding day. It completely slipped our minds, like we need a coordinator, like a day of. And we were kind of getting down to all the last minute details where we couldn't be there on the day of to do it. So we were like, okay, we need a coordinator. We hired a coordinator weekend of January, and she helped us kind of finalize the last few details. So we had everything like pretty much picked out, scheduled, and now we're at the day of our wedding, which I guess we can talk about our rehearsal first.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the rehearsal.
It was pretty chill. I don't remember anything being stressful.
I mean, it started snowing as we were leaving.
That was the biggest thing, which we'll get into, but the rehearsal was fun. We just went to the church. I had everyone like dress up in really formal gowns.
Yeah,
like,
it was a formal rehearsal.
Formal attire, which that's just me. I like to dress up. So I was like, it would be so much fun to wear like a prom dress. You never really get to re-wear fancy. All 10 of my bridesmaids were in these prom dresses, and then like they dressed up. We had this beautiful outlook at the church. It was literally, the room was called the Outlook Room because it oversaw like the whole city, and you could actually see our venue from the church. And from the venue too, you could see the church. everybody showed up. And the day before the rehearsal dinner, me and Grant didn't have any of the same friend group. We obviously met each other, and he's from Alaska, obviously. So all his friends, I just didn't even know. He didn't really know my friends that well. We wanted to have a little bonfire the day before the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, that was really, really fun.
While everyone was still in town, like they just got into town, and they could kind of meet each other.
Yeah, it was just the wedding party, just the 22 that were going to be walking up the aisle. They could all kind of mingle and get to know each other. I mean, a lot of the guys that I had on my side didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
Her brothers were in my wedding, and also all of my friends from, you know, Alaska, and my friends from high school here in Virginia. They didn't know each other. They never met. So, I mean, it was really cool to see all of my friends. I kind of, you know, through dating her, had now 2 friend groups. My friend group from her town, my friend group from my town, and my friend group from Alaska. It was really, really cool to see them start to mingle and get along just in a few hours. It was really, really fun.
We've just been to a lot of weddings, and it was always a little bit awkward when you are walking down the aisle with someone you've never met. It's like, we didn't want it to be awkward, so it really, really helped that everyone like got to know each other the day before. So that was super fun, the bonfire, then the rehearsal dinner, nothing really crazy. It was just fun. From my perspective, we went straight to my grandma's house and spent the night there. All of my bridesmaids, my maid of honor had like a fun little party, and we all just talked, stayed up late. It was the best thing ever. And then where did y'all stay?
We stayed at my brother's house that he had rented out, the lake house.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. Just chill, kicking back, hanging out with the guys, you know. And
I didn't take any kind of like bachelorette trip. I just don't think that's necessary. You know, we didn't do anything. We didn't even go anywhere. We just like to like sit and talk, so we did nothing.
We went to the batting cages.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, like me and Drew and Tyler and Taylor and Addison. It's just Addison was
after
early.
we set up at the venue.
Friday, they all came in.
Yeah.
From wherever they were coming from.
Like
I got friends that live in Texas now, and friends that were flying in from Alaska and all that kind of stuff. Friday, we went to a trampoline park. It's like always been one of my favorite things.
He loves that, yeah.
And then from there, we went to a rock climbing place, and we rock climbed for a couple hours, and that was really, really fun.
Yeah. Now it's like the day of the wedding.
Take it through your side all the way until you got to the church.
I was given a schedule, and all of the girls, you know, were given a schedule for like what time hair and makeup was. I didn't have a makeup person. Everyone was just gonna do their own makeup. I did my own makeup. And then one of my friends, which was actually she was a bridesmaid as well, she was gonna do everybody's hair. Again, it was just very chill. I didn't want anybody stressing out about anything. My coordinator had given like a little schedule, and I was supposed to be there at some time apparently, but I slept in and forgot about it. I went to my house to take a shower. Apparently I was supposed to be at the church like very early in the morning. All the bridesmaids had left and gone to the church to get their hair done, and it was just me and my maid of honor, one of my other bridesmaids, and the 3 of us just kind of like up in and took our time. It was really fun. It was like 10 o'clock, 11 I think. It was like pretty late. Then I just went back to my grandparents' house, picked up my bridesmaid and my maid of honor, and we went to the church. I got my hair done, I got my makeup, I did my own makeup. It was just like very laid back, and then we ate Chick-fil-A, had Starbucks. I don't know, like nothing happened. It was just very chill, which is crazy because there was 11 girls. Remember, I had my first look with my brothers, and then I had a first look with my dad, and me and Grant didn't see each other, and so we walked down the aisle, and that was like the best thing ever. He cried and cried and cried. I'm gonna put videos here.
Please don't. Yeah, it was a far cry from what I experienced that day.
Yeah.
So, night before was great. We ended up playing board games or just talking or hanging out until pretty late. And then we all kind of went our separate ways to different corners of the house and found a place to sleep for a couple hours. I mean, there wasn't beds, so we were crashing on the couch, on the recliner, on the floor, on the coffee table. Next morning, we all got up around 7-ish, all got showers. There was some reason we needed to go to the reception venue. Either way,
I will say I woke up to the biggest snowstorm that I had seen that year.
It started snowing the night before, and it wasn't like that much snow. It was probably 4 or 5 inches. The problem was Saturday morning into Saturday, it got above freezing and started thawing out. And then by Saturday evening, it got below freezing again. So now we have like straight ice on top of this snow. So when I go to check on it, 3 trucks pull up to the venue, which is a long, slow ascent on gravel up to the venue, and they're all 2-wheel drive trucks, which I don't even know why they make those. Not a single one of them could even get up to the venue. Okay, this is gonna be a problem. The trucks just could not make it up the hill, and we were slipping and sliding, trying to get running head starts, and just nothing was working. I called my dad. I said, hey, is there any chance you could bring your tractor over here? I called the venue guy. I said, hey, what can we do? It's ice. Nobody's gonna be able to get up here. It's just gonna be a nightmare. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm in a 2-wheel drive truck. At the very least, my truck is supposed to get up to the top of the hill. I was in a rental at the time. I wanted to have something nice for the kind of getaway car, so I rented a truck. And when I told them I wanted to rent a truck, I told them 4-wheel drive. Well, they put me in a Ram at 1500, and I didn't even know, I'm a Ford guy, so I didn't know where to look for the 4-wheel drive, so I just assumed.
Plus, I mean, we were going to Tennessee for our honeymoon, and it was the dead of winter. Yeah. Normally snows. Like, he was just looking to the future,
right.
too.
I just assumed it was 4-wheel drive, and then I find out later that it's not. And then day of, it comes back to bite me, and I'm like, okay, this is a problem. So now it's, January 29th on my wedding day. I'm calling Enterprise like, hey, I need a 4-wheel drive truck now. I can't even get up to our venue right now, and they're like, there's stuff I gotta be doing.
He's like, I'm getting married today. And I can't get to the venue.
And so the guy on the phone, he's really good, and he's like, hey, come right to this location. It's closest to where you're at, and there's 5 or 6 4-wheel drive trucks here on the lot just for you. So I run over there, and if you could have seen me in the parking lot, it was probably hilarious because we had so much stuff from all the groomsmen in my truck for some reason, and I didn't drop it off with anybody. I'm in the parking lot of Enterprise on my wedding day, just grabbing suits and chucking them, grabbing fishing poles and chucking them, grabbing whatever. I mean, probably spare ammo. I mean, men will be men. Yeah, meanwhile, she's sleeping. We got that all figured out, went back to the venue. Some of the guys had managed to get up the hill with the help of the videographer who was there. He had a 4-wheel drive. My dad worked it out where he was able to get somebody over there to plow it. Still would not have wanted to drive up that in a car. So from there, all the guys met for breakfast at Cracker Barrel, ate a nice big breakfast. It was probably like 10:30 or 11 when I got there. I was the last one there because by the time I went to get the truck rented and get back, they had already left the venue. So I just met them at Cracker Barrel. From there, we just went to the church and started getting ready and started hanging out, I guess.
I did hear like afterwards, apparently my dad had woken up at like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. He went to Lowe's and bought bags and bags of salt to go up to the venue.
Like 400 or 500 pounds worth of salt.
When we woke up to see this snowstorm, I mean, I didn't think anything of it because I'm just in a different world. Everyone was waking up thinking like this may not happen because the weather was just so bad. We hadn't had a snowstorm like that in a long time. My dad went straight to the venue first thing in the morning. Both of my brothers went up there. They couldn't even get to the venue, and my one brother also drives a truck. They finally had to like get in the car with the videographer, get in his truck to get them up there. They told me that all the groomsmen had gotten there early and they were moving, shoveling snow, just trying to make a pathway to where we could get up to the venue because apparently they just were saying like it's not gonna happen. The owner of the venue they were already talking to us about a backup plan like the week of the wedding. They were talking about this snowstorm and we need to have a backup plan. I'm like, nope, it's gonna work out. Grant felt the same way. I'm like, it's fine. The church was fine to get up to because it was like a paved road. All of them are working on that straight up until they had to be at the church. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I finally get to the church around noon, get my hair and makeup done. He gets to the church. We're all taking pictures. Then it comes time for the wedding, which was just great. It started snowing again and it got like below freezing. So there was ice everywhere. And we had a 4 p.m. wedding, so it was already dark at like 4:30. It was so bad we weren't able to take pictures afterwards outside.
Yeah, because it was windy. That was the other thing.
Windy. It was absolutely miserable. It was actually so cold. It was awful. We didn't get to take pictures, which was the first thing that was kind of upsetting. Our whole bridal party was I'd say the majority of them were out of state anyway, so like we weren't gonna get to do that again. Our photographer was like, this just isn't gonna work out. Like, it's an ugly room in the church. We can't go outside. So our videographer and our photographer both said, like, what if we just met on another day completely for y'all's bridal portraits? And we kind of just won't be able to get any pictures.
Yeah, we got a few snaps
pictures of the bridal party,
but it wasn't like very picturesque.
Yeah, like we had all these things we wanted and we just didn't get to do it, which is fine. The weather was just really bad. We stopped taking pictures. We really didn't even take pictures of me and him together that much. I think we got one picture. We went straight to the venue. I remember walking outside and it was miserable. It was snowing, ice everywhere.
Probably 25. The wind was the real kicker. I mean, it was it just kind of bit into you.
I had a spaghetti strap dress, kind of like this, and a deep V, no jacket. Freezing. You know, we're married. It was so exciting. I think our ceremony lasted like 20 minutes. I don't know.
25 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it was very short.
I remember the moment that we got in the truck together and it was just like, shut the door, go around, get in my side, close the door, and it was just like a
yeah.
And then you look over and it's like
We're married.
We're married.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the drive was only like, it was less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying to him, I'm like, no one is going to be at our venue. The weather is awful.
Yeah.
And I said, how many people do you think are going to be there? And you were like,
yeah, I
50.
figured it was like 60 or 75.
Like our family.
Yeah.
And I said, honestly, I think it's going to be 20 or 30 people, like our family.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I want to mention that.
How bad the weather was.
We obviously, as soon as the ceremony was over, the bride and groom walk out. Well, as soon as the entire bridal party left, her uncle actually got up on stage.
Oh, yeah.
To this day, we have no idea what he said exactly because nobody videoed it. They cut the tape after this. Apparently, he just got up on stage and said, hey, here's the deal. The venue's got a little bit of a steep grade getting up to it. We would love all of y'all to be there. I know the bride and groom wants you all there. If you're willing to, go park at the church at the base of the hill, and anybody with a truck who's willing can ferry people up to the venue site. And then when you're ready to leave, those same people will ferry you back down. And it was really, really cool to hear all the stories. Just everybody banding together. Anybody with a four-wheel drive truck or SUV. People were just piling into people's cars. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be up there. So, they just made it work. I kid you not. When we got up to the top of the hill, there was every bit of 300 of those 350 people there at the venue.
That's the first time I had ever heard of the weather being an issue. Was like after we got married and we were taking pictures or something, everyone's like, do you think anyone's gonna be able to make it? And I started hearing my brothers and the groomsmen saying like, I couldn't get up there. Even a two-wheel truck couldn't get up there. I'm like, what is this even gonna happen? Like, I had no idea. Everyone hid it from me. We may not actually have like a reception. And then when we walked in and there was kind of these two double doors that open up, I remember we were lining up and we were like about to be announced. And when they opened those doors and we saw like the rows of people, it was almost everyone that was at the church.
I don't remember seeing very many empty seats.
Yeah. It was packed. Like, everyone was there. We were so shocked.
It was just awesome.
It was the best feeling
awesome.
ever. It was just so much fun. We had dancing. We had Mission Barbecue. The food was amazing. Mission Barbecue went out of their way to like...
They were so professional.
Make it happen. I remember my dad saying, he's like, how did y'all get this big truck, the Mission Barbecue truck, up here? They were saying it took them forever, but they just kept trying. They were sliding on the ice.
Yeah, they said they were fishtailing like crazy. They just held the gas down.
They were like, we're gonna make it happen. We did like a little game, like a shoe game, to ask questions. Mother-son dance, father-daughter dance. Then we had the speeches, which y'all will hear.
And then we had dancing.
Then we had like the real dancing.
We had many people tell us, if you don't have alcohol at your wedding, people are not going to be dancing.
Yeah.
I think we sufficiently proved them wrong that night.
Yeah. We don't drink personally, and we didn't want that at our weddings. We had a lot of people telling us, like he said, like, good luck having a good reception, having fun. People are just gonna be lame. And it was like the craziest dance party.
Oh, we took the roof off of that place.
It was crazy. They'll see from the video.
It was wild. It was
He
fun.
was like crazy. I found out afterwards, like while I was getting ready, apparently our cake fell on the ground.
Oh yeah.
That's something I heard about after the wedding. One of my friends had to go to Walmart and buy like frosting to try to fix it. And what I had wanted as like a 4-tier cake turned into like a 2-tier cake.
It was 5 to 3.
It was, okay, 5-tier to, yeah. I didn't even notice it though. That's how much I like didn't even care. When we walked in the venue, I went over to the cake. I'm like, it's so pretty and all this stuff. And they're like, everyone's staring at each other like, she even noticed.
That morning when we went up there, when we finally got up to the top of the venue, the cake had already fallen. I wasn't here at this time. I was out trying to get my truck figured out. Groomsmen told me after the fact that several of my younger brothers were eating the fallen cake off of the floor because like, oh, they're not gonna reuse it.
Right. And like,
they're just like
we did.
Grabbing little handfuls off the floor.
Yeah, someone had to tell them like, stop, this is all we have. We didn't eat the part that was on the ground apparently. They just saved what was still in the air. I didn't even notice. It looked pretty to me and I was just excited. So,
still the best cake I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, it was so good.
The officiant and his wife who was singing that day both were extremely sick.
They were like so sick.
The Lord just sustained them that whole day.
Like she was like,
they were miserable.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to sing. And he was like just recovering from a major case of COVID. That was just the Lord. Like, cause she sang the house down.
She really did.
And it was so bad at the rehearsal. She was about to sing. She was like, I can't sing. Like she felt awful. So they ended up going home. So they didn't even get to practice. But I was like, it's fine, whatever happens, happens. One thing I did like was after the whole wedding was over and everybody left, me and Grant had like a last dance.
Yeah, private last dance.
It was private, like our family walked outside. It was just me and Grant in the whole venue. And we kind of had that moment where we were just like thinking about everything. And
yeah, that was fun.
It was like the most fun day of our lives. And we were just soaking it all in before we left. And then we had our exit. We did like little sparklers.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it was just the prettiest exit. Everyone stayed for a really long time. We left, we stayed in a little cabin close to the venue before we left for Tennessee the next day for our honeymoon.
That was the right call. Don't do a 5-hour drive the night of your wedding.
No, especially not in the winter because it was the worst weather.
Especially when you leave the venue at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and then we went to Tennessee for a week after that. There was a few things that went wrong, but overall was the best day ever.
It was without a doubt the best day of my life.
Mine too. I guess that's it though. That was our wedding day and kind of leading up to it. Next week we're gonna upload our official wedding video. You can see what we're explaining.
Definitely be on the lookout for that. And if y'all enjoy this video and this type of content, please subscribe, like the video, and comment. And we will see y'all on the next one.
Yep. Bye guys. Here's your salute.